Americans. We're always asking good questions. We have a lot of them. Some people think we have too many. We're also really good at getting the answers to these questions. And we're getting smarter. In 1940, only 25% of kids graduated high school. 3 out of 4 kids dropped out before graduating. In 2012, we're up to 87.65%. That's quite a swing, and we're still moving towards a higher number. What does it matter that we go to high school? Well, we're all given an education here. We learn a couple useful skills. We have math, we learn to count and add, and some of us even learn calculus. Science, we find out about all these neat facts and get interested in the world around us. English, we learn to read and write. We get a good handle on our grammar and critical reading skills, among other things. History is something everybody remembers from high school, though. We learned about George Washington. Most Americans know something about this guy. Sure, maybe he just had fake teeth, or they know about him chopping down his father's cherry tree. Actually, I'm willing to bet we know more than that. We know that our country used to be British. We were just colonized over here in North America, being ruled by England 3,000 miles away in Europe. We know the colonies fought a war for independence. The British came over and fought us. They had cannons and we had cannons and we shot each other and it was sad. But some really brave people fought for our freedom from the British Empire. Our founders really knew how to make a solid government. They were really interested in this stuff and they talked it all out on these big congresses to write the Constitution. And we have a couple rights in there. One of our rights is voting. There are 2 parties, the Democrats and the Republicans. They've been around forever. Our grandparents voted for one of these parties, and the parties don't agree on much. Eventually, we're born and we're brought up by our parents or guardians. The methods of bringing us up have a lot to do with how we think about stuff. Maybe it's what they thought, or maybe it's how they taught us. We're our own person with all our own new influences. We learn that there's always been 2 parties and always will be. That's what they teach us from when we're little. There's not really any reason to question it yet. Then we turn 18 and we decide how we'll vote, or we don't vote at all. Only 10% of voters aren't affiliated with a party. The other guys are registered under one party or another. So if it's one way or the other, why can't the people in the middle decide? Most people find out who they will vote for through the media. The TV tells them who is good or bad. The newspapers do it too. Even social networking can tell you how your friends vote. Media has a lot of effect on which way we decide to vote. When we think about researching candidates on our own, it sounds too hard. Research is a scary word, like research paper. We think about the library. Or we could just watch TV and hear about candidates instead. Or we could just read flyers. That's easier than going and reading party platforms online. Main parties make it easy for most people and pick a couple polarizing issues and then back certain actions on those. We hear pro-choice or pro-life. If you're pro-life, you hate choice. If you're pro-choice, you hate life. Peace and patriotism is another example. Do you hate your country or hate people living in peace? They're asking a lot out of us. But when it comes down to it, there's not a lot of room for customization in politics. We pick one side or another. That's strange. America is the land of customizations. We don't just have regular drink sizes. We have Italian-named ones for our coffee, and huge ones for our soft drinks. We pick what kind of soda we drink, hot dogs or hamburgers, and we love to argue about the best computer operating system. But we don't seem to care about customizing our political opinions. We just stand for the view of the party we settle with. This is where third parties come in. Third parties help you customize your political opinion by focusing your political views a little more. Well, what do we know about third parties? We know about Ross Perot. He was really rich, and he spent all kinds of money on his campaign, and he did really well, but he didn't win. And then there was Teddy Roosevelt. He made a party to split the vote in 1912. He was angry at the Republicans, and it was retaliation. And nowadays, third parties are for crazy people and a good way to waste your vote. Right? Wrong. Third parties are indispensable. Let's think about this some more. George Washington earlier, he hated parties. He didn't want people to think about sides or mindsets. He wanted them to think for themselves. Do you have to be pro-life to agree with gun rights? What if you only agree with one? Also, with this huge country, Republicans and Democrats love the battleground states. They treat them like they're the only important places in America. Politicians used to campaign all over the place to get votes, and now they campaign almost less than ever, and they only seem to go to these battleground states. It makes the rest of us feel like our votes might not matter. And that feeds into why we don't vote for third parties. If our vote won't change which two-party candidate wins, how will it get a third-party candidate into office? We're mostly focused on winning elections. We love winning. If you ain't first, you're last. Elections are supposed to be us speaking our minds, though. It's not like it's a real competition, but we've turned it into one. It's your opportunity to elect in people to represent your opinions in government. Furthermore, we assume that Democrats and Republicans fall separately on the political spectrum. Also, we assume that they're in pretty tight-knit regions. But most American politicians fall very closely in the first quadrant of the political compass. And that's Republican or Democrat aside, they're still very close. And most people fall right here around the origin. Why are the average opinions of citizens different from the leaders in charge? Go find your political orientation on politicalcompass.org, and you can see exactly what we mean by this. If you want to affiliate with a third party, it's not wasting your vote any more than talking is wasting your breath. It's the only opportunity you have to make your voice heard in government. Let's imagine we have two candidates, Candidate A and Candidate B. A is a Republican. He likes guns and he hates abortions. B is a Democrat. He wants us to have government-funded health care and increase our social programs. Say we hate these ideas, but we like this one. Well, what if we don't truly agree with either one? They always say in elections, pick the lesser of two evils. Why? Why does it have to be this way? Why can't there just be more options for us? Well, there sort of already are, but many people don't know what these other parties stand for. Maybe I want less government in a libertarian option, or maybe a more environmentally friendly government with the Green Party, or maybe I want to focus on keeping everybody equal in the eyes of the law. It's all up to me, but I'm not held down by just the Republicans and Democrats. Parties cause labels. Republicans hate Democratic programs, and Democrats hate Republican programs. Third parties help us to see things for what they really are. Because it's not about what your party believes in, it's about what you believe in. Power to the people, not power to the party. Third parties by nature put less emphasis on the parties and more emphasis on the people. They're not trying to undermine the representative democracy. They want to let you put your opinions on the forefront, not make you compromise and rate how much you like issues. Take back your right to call the shots in this country. Find out what you believe in, get educated, and vote for a candidate you believe in, not just the one you see on the news. Because without citizens taking an active role in government, there is no hope, or reform, or change. It's just the same two parties your grandparents argued about. Let's take back the representative democracy.